Okay. I'm a 31 male with a 25-year-old sister who lives at home. My parents are in their 60s. My mom and sister have never worked a real job other than under-the-table things like babysitting. My dad was the only earner in our family. They were making it by until about 10 years ago when money started to get tight. My parents' house went into foreclosure, and my mom still did not get a job. I gave them money to try to help. They lost the house anyways. Again, no job was secured by my mom. This was 10 years ago. Fast forward to today. The house they live in now is in foreclosure again, and no one seems to have a sense of urgency to seek employment. Turns out money was tight these last 10 years because my dad was a functioning opioid addict. He really started to spiral in these last 6 months and is now in prison for the next 2 years. I've always been the person in my family to pick up the pieces and be the one everyone turns to. Since my dad has been in jail, I've not talked to him. I've also stopped talking to my mom and sister because they have not paid me for the bills I have in my name and that they are responsible for. But yet, they send my dad in jail money. I gave them months of encouragement to try to find a job and kept paying the bills while they were trying to figure it out. When I asked for the money recently, since months have gone by with no employment secured, my mom straight up ignored my calls and texts. I'm done. They tell me that I'm an asshole for leaving them in their time of need and that they have been trying their best to find jobs, but it's hard to get one. And I call BS. I'm tired of being the fixer. I'm tired of being the enabler. Am I the asshole for not paying for them anymore and for not being in their life?
So are they homeless? Or
No, they still live in their home, but it's going for foreclosure again. They're about to get evicted.
Okay. And he's paying for all their current bills, right?
Yeah, up until a few weeks ago, he said, and now he's trying to get the money that they borrowed from him back.
So let me paint the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
If he stops paying
Mm-hmm.
and they go into foreclosure,
Mm-hmm.
does that effectively mean they're homeless?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this has happened before 10 years ago as well, and he was there to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder where they get money from, because they said they still send money over to... What does a man in prison need for money?
He has to live. There's certain things that...
Isn't everything provided to you in prison?
No, I think...
No, there's this commissary.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wasn't aware of that.
You could be rich in jail.
I didn't know that.
Why do you think the rappers and stuff, why do you think they get off scot-free?
I don't even know.
They get their commissary filled.
So, I see where he's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like when you pay for a lot of things and a lot of people don't see it, But to that point, they did say that they're looking for work. And to put it into perspective, Toronto is a place where it's really hard to get a job.
Job market's bad.
So for him to take it be like, I think they're lying to me, I think he should have done a little bit more digging first before accusing somebody of that. And I don't fam. I don't know if their culture is different or if they're different people. There is no world that I would ever be like, my mom and my sister can be homeless.
Mm-hmm.
There is that scenario. There's no world where I would let my family be on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe he is doing something where it's a lot coming out of him, but I think he needs to provide a better support system to help them get the things that he thinks that they're not doing. Resume building. Why don't you sit down with them, help them create their resume, and be there when they're submitting applications, right? I think he is giving them too much independence in an area where they might not have expertise and expecting them to follow through with certain things. You have to, instead of you have to show people how to do things in order for them to do it correctly at times. And not a lot of people can pick it up as easily, and you may be enabling them to continue on this path, right? So, and another thing is, his mom is in her 60s, bro. Why do you expect her to, what job do you expect her to do?
Well, they got to pay the bills though.
That's true.
Yeah.
100% I agree with you, but at what point do you think maybe I should support her a little, Because for me, I can't think of a world where I would tell my 60-year-old mother to go get a job.
The 60, he said that?
His parents are in their 60s, he said, yeah.
I didn't
if you don't have education, you'd probably have to get a retail job. And a lot of that job is kind of tasking for people in their 60s,
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to tell my mom, go get a manual labor job? I did that for 4 years, broke my back, and I was in my teens. Do I want that to happen from maybe the sister? I expect more from her. Be like, what the hell are you doing? You're not that person. You're not that guy. go get a job, go work at Starbucks, work at
Maybe not
second job,
Starbucks.
maybe not Starbucks,
Maybe not Starbucks.
maybe work at
Second
Walmart,
job.
get a job, get a full-time gig.
Always go to Walmart, man.
I've been there for years.
I mean, they open their arms to people. What can I say?
Anybody, fam.
Yeah, they're really.
When I worked there was a man who was 75, and when I also worked there was a girl who was 16, fam. It's like the range of workers are so, complex.
You gotta love that.
But it's like, at that point, I expect you to support these people in their time of need in a way that's not just monetary. Maybe they need guidance. Maybe they need resume building skills. Maybe they need access to where to apply. And that's where I stand. I don't think he is the asshole, but I think he needs to do a better job with his support. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's a tough situation when you're texting somebody saying, hey, yeah, I need to pay this right now, because we don't know his financial status. He could be doing good for himself, but supporting two other people and then someone in jail.
You have to be doing great.
I don't.
If you're supporting somebody and also supporting yourself, you need to be not well off, but comfortable.
Exactly. So that's comfort if you're supporting yourself.
Yeah.
They're stretching it a long way if you're saying, okay, I'm supporting two other people. And when I'm trying to text them, say, hey, we need to get this going. We need to get this paid off. And they're, especially your mother being deading your calls and deading your text messages and saying, yeah, I'm not responding to that. And then I don't know how he found out his dad was getting money in jail when he doesn't talk to his dad. And they're deading his calls, but that's another conversation. But yeah, I would take the sister aside, say, hey, like, we got to pick this family up. I would ask the mother, say, hey, like, let's downsize the house. Let's get you guys an apartment, or yes, come stay with me until we find you guys an apartment. And then, yeah, if you can just take care of the household, let's go. I'll take my sister under my wing, say, hey, what do you want to do? Because you guys homeless wouldn't be cool. You're going to be looking at your peers going by with their life and try to get to, like, pull on our emotional strings and try to look at life as a long-term thing, not just year by year or day by day, because that seems like what they're living as right now is a day by day thing. But if you think of it 30 years down the road, you're going to be your mother, that could be something real that probably wakes her up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I would agree. Just talk to his sister. The mother, just say, hey, just take care of the crib. The sister, let's go find your passion or whatever you want to do. In the meantime, let's get this menial job and let's get something going. Let's start businesses. Let's start something that wakes people up. Because social media, one thing you'll get envious about. Another thing, it really motivates people. And just show her that shit that's going on out there and how people are getting easy money.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get it going. So I don't see it as an asshole. He just needs to revamp his approach, like you said.
Agreed.
I'm not gonna lie, I disagree with both of you guys.
Interesting.
Respectfully, I'll say that because I'm looking at this story from the lens of, because one thing that really stands out to me in this is that 10 years ago, the same thing happened, right? And this person, he said he was 31 male, right? So at 21, he really had to be the sole breadwinner to smoothen out the flaws of their household, right? And I feel like that weighs on somebody in the time that's passed since then. So he's probably I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm looking at it from, he's probably exhausted so much energy and time revamping the situation. All the stuff that you guys have been saying, I feel like this has probably been done and looked at, observed, tried to pivot in certain ways. So much probably has happened in that 10 years to get him to the point where he's like, all right, now this is holding me back personally, and I will not be able to prosper if I continue this. Something has to change, And the situation in his crib has gotten worse. His dad's not now out of the picture, became an opioid addict, is in jail, right? The mother is clearly not motivated, has never had a work ethic ever, and is not going to start now. I understand what you're saying. Being in her 60s, she shouldn't be the one that's being looked at to provide for their family, but I also look at their household as, like, where they're in is also a direct cause and result of how the parents parented that household. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why the sister is lazy and not motivated. I'm saying lazy because that's naturally what it is. At 25 years old, house is going into foreclosure and you still haven't had a job before. That's a severe character flaw, lack of responsibility in a natural person at 25. Mm-hmm. So in that, I'm saying that I look at this scenario as if sometimes you can't change people's ways. you're not going to be the person that does it. Reality is going to settle in. They're going to have to go through a severe storm in their life that they directly caused. And we're not like always going to be the people, like I'm talking about the people that have a good head on their shoulders, sensible mind, who thinking progressively, thinking forward, you know, those type of people aren't always going to be the ones that help fix that situation for the person that's going through it. It's going to have to be somewhere down the line where it settles in for them, or it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't even. Some people just go their entire lives sometimes just feeling justified in their shitty ways or in their way of living or in their characteristics and stuff like that. And that never gets repaired. But that's truly just what it is in life. Like that sometimes happens. So in this scenario, I'm looking at this person as he's not the asshole, but I'm also looking at him as somebody who's looking at himself now instead of looking at his family, because his family has led him to the position now where he's almost given up, you know, and he's asking this out of sincere, like, you know, probably guilt, you know, but I don't think that helping his family financially at this point is going to help that situation out any further. I think he needs to disconnect.
Yeah, okay.
And start worrying about himself.
So if the mom and the sister are on the streets, what are you going to do?
It's not his problem anymore.
Damn. I can't agree with that.
It's not his problem anymore.
So you see him being okay with his family being homeless?
They have to be okay with being homeless for him to get to that position.
Beyond that, for you think, like, God forbid, I'm not putting this on your family, but emotionally, you think you will be okay and move forward in your life and have that at the back of your mind that,
after I went through 10 years of trying to help and save that family, yeah, I'd be 100% okay with that. I'd be 100% okay with that because they've given me no other choice.
Well, yeah, to that point, I'm looking at it from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to put myself in his shoes, not the person I am letting my family on the streets, right? So to your point, you did support for 10 years, but I think there's something that you're doing here that you tell us all the time, and it's you're assuming. You're assuming that he gave them the support system.
You're right.
He already did all this stuff.
You're right, yeah, 100%.
But if he didn't,
then
right,
yeah, he would be justified. He wouldn't feel justified doing that. You're right.
So if he did all those stuff where he tried to like go look at it from different angles, how can I support you here? This is not going to work. What can we do? Like if he threw stuff at the wall and see if it stuck and everything just fell off.
You're right. I am assuming he's been hands-on with this the entire time. And that's an assumption I made. But at the same time too, I'm looking at it like, if you haven't been hands-on, then you shouldn't be even questioning this, you know, like you have to be the person that helps them out, not just financially, but yeah, like you're saying, like, you know, like give them some guidance.
Yeah.
You know, you clearly have gotten to a point where you're responsible enough to take care of yourself. You know what A, B, and C is, X, Y, and Z is. So shed some light on them. You know, that's your duty as a family member, right? But my whole point is that if you've exhausted that, and you feel now that you're at an impasse, like I can't help them out anymore, you should be okay with just distancing yourself from that situation.
I don't know, man.
I truly feel that.
I just can't imagine. I get your point, and to a certain degree, I agree with you. But as a person, I just can't imagine letting people that I should be supporting, in my head at least, in that situation, be on the street. There's no equal sign where I think that's possible in my life.
I don't think it should be, but I think in times you're given no other options, you know. And I'm looking at it from the position of he's being given no other option. And these people cannot, for the life of them, fix their life up. It's just not possible.
But people awake from, like, for me, a lot of my life, I was mentally, emotionally lazy until the last couple of years where podcasting and different things woke me up, because I didn't see myself long term in a regular job. I didn't see myself gaining motivation from being in a regular, but things like the podcasting, things like where I work now, things like other things have approached my life where it woke me up a little bit, and I started realizing possibilities of other things and started having conversations. No matter how much some of my siblings I've had conversations with, it didn't work for me. So different people work differently. He needs to, what I would say, speak to the younger sister and see what motivates her, because who knows? She can be that one for the family that turns everything around, but she just needs to be approached the right way and have that discussion with her. Because if your little sister's 25 and she's not realizing nothing for herself, she may need to have a conversation. Just have a conversation.
Yeah.
You may not. Okay, a few months from now, don't enable her. She's 25 now. You may need to enable your mother a little bit longer, because again, religious wise, or everything else wise for us, we're putting ourselves in his shoes. But at least have that conversation with your little sister. Figure out what she wants to do in life and what she's good at, and try to steer her in that direction, because she could be the one for the family.
That's fair. You think he's docile?
No.
You think he's docile?
If he removes himself,
Yeah. If he, based off of everything, he wants to leave. If he left, do you think he's an asshole?
I think he's an asshole if he completely removes himself.
And I agree with you. So it's 2 versus 1. It's very rare that me and Mokhtar agree still.
Yeah, you get there on,
It's
you get
very
there on the
agree.
same side now. I rate that.
Besties.
Love that.
That's a wrap.
All right. Leave it at that.